God's message as it came to Micah of Moresheth that came during the reigns of Jotham, Ahaz, and Hezekiah, kings of Judah. It had to do with what was going on in Samaria and Jerusalem. God takes the witness stand. Listen, people, all of you, listen, earth and everyone in it. The master God takes the witness stand against you, the master from his holy temple. Look, here he comes, God from his place. He comes down and strides across the mountains and hills. Mountains sink under his feet, valleys split apart, the rock mountains crumble into gravel, river valleys leak like sieves. All this because of Jacob's sin, because Israel's family did wrong. You ask, so what is Jacob's sin? Just look at Samaria. Isn't it obvious? And all the section religion shrines in Judah, isn't Jerusalem responsible? I'm turning Samaria into a heap of rubble, a vacant lot littered with garbage. I'll dump the stones from her buildings in the valley and leave her abandoned foundations exposed. All her carved and cast gods and goddesses will be sold for stove wood and scrap metal. All her sacred fertility groves burned to the ground, all the sticks and stones she worshiped as gods destroyed. These were earnings from her life as a whore. This is what happens to the fees of a whore. This is why I lament and mourn. This is why I go around in rags and barefoot. This is why I howl like a pack of coyotes and moan like a mournful owl in the night. God has inflicted punishing wounds. Judah has been wounded with no healing in sight. Judgment has marched through the city gates. Jerusalem has faced the charges. Don't gossip about this in Tell Town. Don't waste your ears in Dustville, rolling the dust in Alarm Town. The alarm is sounded. The citizens of Exitburg will never get out alive. Lament, last stand city. There's nothing left in you standing. The villagers of Bittertown wait in vain for sweet peace, harsh judgment from God in inner peace city. All you who live in Chariotville, get your chariots for flight. You led the daughter of Zion into trusting not God, but chariots. Similar sins in Israel also got their start in you. Go ahead and give your goodbye gifts to Goodbyeville. Mirage Town beckoned but disappointed Israel's kings. Inheritance City has lost its inheritance. Glory Town has seen its last glory. Shave your heads in mourning over the loss of your precious towns. Go bald as a goose egg. They've gone into exile and aren't coming back. Micah chapter 2, God has had enough. Doomed to those who plot evil, who go to bed dreaming up crimes. As soon as it's morning, they're all full of energy doing what they plan. They covet fields and grab them, find homes and take them. They bully the neighbor and his family, see people only for what they can get out of them. God has had enough, he says. I have some plans of my own. Disaster because of the interbreeding evil. Your necks are all on the line. You're not walking away from this. It's doomsday for you. Mocking ballads will be sung of you, and you yourselves will sing the blues. Our lives are ruined. Our homes and lands auctioned off. They take everything, leave us nothing. All is sold to the highest bidder, and there'll be no one to stand up for you, no one to speak up before you, before God and his jury. Don't preach, say the preachers. Don't preach such stuff. Nothing bad will happen to us. Talk like this to the family of Jacob. Does God lose his temper? Is this the way he acts? Isn't he on the side of good people? Doesn't he help those who help themselves? What do you mean, good people? You're the enemy of my people. You rob unsuspecting people out for an evening stroll. You take off their coats off their backs like soldiers who plunder the defenseless. You drive the women of my people out of their ample homes. You make victims of the children and leave them vulnerable to violence and vice. Get out of here, the lot of you. You can't take it easy here. You polluted this place, and now you're polluted, ruined. If someone showed up with a good smile and glib tongue and told lies from morning to night, I'll preach sermons that will tell you how can you get anything you want from God? More money, the best wines, you name it. You'd hire him on the spot as your preacher. I'm calling a meeting, Jacob. I want everyone back, all the survivors of Israel. I'll get them together in one place, like sheep in a fold, like cattle in a corral. Milling throng of homebound people. Then I, God, will burst all confinements and lead them out into the open. They'll follow their king. I'll be out front leading them. Micah 3, haters of good, lovers of evil. Then I said, listen, leaders of Jacob, leaders of Israel, don't you know anything of justice? Haters of good, lovers of evil. Isn't justice in your job description? But you skin my people alive. You rip the meat off their bones. You break up the bones, chop the meat, and throw it in a pot for cannibal stew. The time's coming, though, when these same leaders will cry out for help to God, but he won't listen. He'll turn his face the other way because of their history of evil. Here is God's message to the prophets, the preachers who lie to my people. For as long as they're well paid and well fed, the prophets preach, isn't life wonderful? Peace to all. But if you don't pay up and jump on their bandwagon, their God bless you turns into God DAMN you. Lord Jesus, I'm not going to say that. My God. Mm, mm, mm. Therefore, Lord almost made me lose my place. Therefore, my Jesus alive. Therefore, you're going blind. You'll see nothing. You'll live in deep shadows and know nothing. Ain't gonna get me to say that. The sun that set on the prophets, I ain't going to say that. The sun that set on the prophets, they've had their day. From now on, it's night. Visionaries will be confused. Experts will be all mixed up. They'll hide behind their reputations and make lame excuses to cover up their God ignorance. Well, you all see it right there, what it says, but I'm not reading that. But me, I'm filled with God's power, filled with God's spirit of justice and strength. You got that right. Ready to confront Jacob's crime and Israel's sin. The leaders of Jacob and the leaders of Israel are leaders contemptuous of justice, who twist and distort right living. Leaders who build Zion by killing people, who expand Jerusalem by committing crimes. Judges sell verdicts to the highest bidder. Priests mass marketing their teaching. Prophets preach for high fees, all the while posturing and pretending dependence on God. We've got God on our side. It protects us from disaster because of people like you. Zion will be turned back into a farmland. Jerusalem will end up a pile of rubble. And instead of the temple on the mountain, a few scraggly scrub pines.